Hello everyone, we're going to be looking at the upcoming multi-day severe weather threat that's going to be from today through the 26th. So starting off here, we are looking at the severe thunderstorm outlook that is for today. They have issued multiple slight risks, one for the parts of the southeast, but you do have a 5% risk for tornadoes, and also another level 2 out of 5. That's for parts of central Kansas. If you're in these areas, you definitely need to be weather aware for some severe storms possible in these areas. Also, some multiple marginal risks in place, which is a level 1 out of 5. That's for over here in the southeast as well. Over here in extreme southern Texas, over here in the southwestern, in Kansas as well, and parts of the northern Rockies. You do have 5 different marginal risks in place for some isolated severe storms possible in those areas. Here's a tornado threat, and like I said, there's a 5% risk for tornadoes in that brown shaded area. Definitely need to be weather aware. We have seen a couple of tornado warnings throughout the day in that type of area this morning. Also, a 2% risk for those tornadoes in the green area as well. Here's the hail risk. Hail risk is also a threat with the slight risk over here in parts of Kansas. You do have up to golf ball size hail possible within the yellow shaded area, and up to quarter size hail is possible within those green shaded areas there. Lastly, here's that wind risk. And definitely the wind is a threat with all these level 2s and level 1s out of 5. You definitely see up to 60 mile per hour gusts within both of the yellow shaded areas, and up to 40 miles per hour gusts within those green shaded areas within those storms. Here's tomorrow's outlook, and we do have a slight risk for those severe storms in that yellow shaded area. Definitely if you're in the area, you need to be weather aware, as well as you could see a possibility for those severe storms. Also, a marginal risk for severe storms right around that slight risk area. Also, another marginal risk for those severe storms in the kind of the Carolinas and Virginia area, as you can see there. Let's go to the tornado risk, and definitely tomorrow you do have a 2% risk for those tornadoes. Definitely not a big risk, but you still need to be weather aware, as there is still a possibility for those isolated spin-ups. Here's a hail risk, and there is a hail risk, as you can see, up to golf ball size hail within those storms that are possible within the yellow shaded area, and up to quarter size hail is possible within that green shaded area. Here's the wind risk, and you do have up to 60 mile per hour gusts within the yellow shaded area, and up to 40 mile per hour gusts within the green shaded areas as well. Lastly, here's the 26th severe storm outlook, and as you can see, they have highlighted a big area of the Midwest. As you can see, they have a level 2 out of 5. This definitely could potentially be upgraded. A line of storms or a possible derecho is possible to develop around this type of area, and it will track southeast towards this whole area here, but it will kind of weaken once it gets to the end of this marginal risk area, as you can see there. But definitely, if you're in that area, you need to keep an eye out on the 26th for some serious severe storms. Probabilistic outlook, we don't have a separate tornado, wind, and hail risks yet, but we do have a 15% chance so far for every single hazard out there. Now we can look at the weather models, including the simulated radar for this severe weather. So right now we are looking at the future simulated radar, the composite reflectivity. So right now we do have kind of a cluster / line of storms rolling through the southeast, including Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. Even parts of the panhandle of Florida could definitely see some severe storms throughout today. And like I said, we have seen a couple of tornado warnings throughout this Mississippi and Louisiana area already this morning, as you have that 5% risk for those tornadoes. Let's roll this through though, and you definitely see those storms get even stronger, as you can see, once it gets to around the border of Alabama and Mississippi. Also some cells up here, probably most likely not as tornado potential, but definitely some intense storms could be possible up there, as you do have a hail and wind risk for those. And even over here by the New Orleans area, you could definitely see some pretty intense storms. Even over here by the border of Texas and Louisiana, you still have that risk for those some isolated severe storms. You're getting through the early afternoon hours now, and those storms are still ongoing, as you can see there. Still some storms in the northern part of Georgia, and even some developing in the South Carolina area, as you can see there. These will push northeast, as you can see here, while this cold front really just pushes them eastward. You go to around the 4 p.m. time frame, and really just seeing these storms push through the southeast and now getting into Georgia. Still some strong storms up, especially down here in southern Alabama, getting into Georgia now, and even some more cells developing. Maybe some pop-up thunderstorms possible throughout Florida today. So definitely not a beach day, because you're pretty much never expecting any storms during a beach day. There's going to be rounds of rain, even for some places in Florida. Now we're getting into around 5 p.m. or around 6 p.m. Eastern, and really these storms are still ongoing, even more developing behind these. These cells are really just going to be isolated at this point. Most of these have taken up the available energy, but still, there are going to be some isolated severe storms behind that. These are going to be the main ones that are producing some tornado warnings early this morning. You're going to get to around 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and still, those storms are still rolling through. As you can see, they're mainly isolated now. Really, you're just getting into 9 p.m. now, and still, those storms are still rolling through, surprisingly. And you're getting into around midnight now. They are dissipating in coverage, as you can see there. Still some storms, some isolated storms moving throughout there, but really, they're going to move out the region, as you can see there, once you get into early morning hours for tomorrow. Maybe some more storms possible for the Louisiana and Texas area. Now we can go ahead and go over to the north central U.S. for tomorrow. So let's go ahead and go over to the NAM 3 kilometer model, and we can see these storms when they do develop. Let's get over to tomorrow here. Definitely those storms will start to develop around the 3 or 4 p.m. central time frame, as you can see here in the Dakotas and Nebraska. Those will develop in the marginal and slight risk areas. They will most likely be clusters, not really an organized line of storms or anything, but definitely they will be clusters of storms. Main threats are going to be wind and hail, but definitely an isolated tornado or two are going to be possible. So definitely stay weather aware, even though there's not much of that tornado risk. There was actually a 5% risk issued this morning, but they have downgraded that to a 2% risk for those tornadoes. You get into around 3 a.m. for tomorrow, and those are starting to weaken, as you can see there, and you get into around 6 a.m. and those have turned into those isolated showers and thunderstorms. And you even get to around, I would say 9 a.m. There are some storms developing, but those are going to be mainly isolated until you get to around the 26th. As you can see here, let's get over to the Midwest so you can really see this. Those line of storms will develop. They will organize around the Wisconsin area, and this will reach from even up here to Michigan all the way down here to even Kansas. I mean, this is definitely going to be a long line of storms and impossible to reach. So that's where that slight risk is for June 26th. And we can even look at the available energy here, the surface-based CAPE values for the June 26th time frame. And you're seeing, let's get over to, that'll be around 3 or 4 p.m. As you can see, just a bunch of energy, even over here in Kansas. Most of these storms are not going to be reaching this part of Kansas, but definitely 5,300 joules per kilogram is really enough energy to get a very large hail threat. And even up here in Wisconsin, you're going to get to 4,000 joules per kilogram. Down here that energy is starting to dissipate around around the Illinois area. You need only to around 2,000. So definitely some severe storms are going to be possible throughout this whole area for June 26th. You're getting even into 6 p.m. and still there's some available energy to keep those line of storms going. Until then, you can see that energy is really starting to dissipate once you get to around the Kentucky area. So they're definitely not going to make it past the Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Missouri border until they weaken pretty much fully and turn into those isolated showers and thunderstorms. Here's the bulk shear, and definitely let's get over to the June 26th. There is some shear in there, as you can see, 66 knots in there. And you're seeing some shear in there, and there's definitely some pockets could definitely charge that tornado risk for June 26th. Storm-related helicity, and this is just the spin in the atmosphere. There's definitely some that could really spike the tornado risk. Lastly, here's the cap, the mixed layer CIN, CIN, and let's get over to, and you really don't need a cap. If you have a cap, there's definitely not going to be any tornadoes, and there is definitely those caps. So definitely tornado risk is not going to be very high. It's mainly going to be a wind and hail driven risk. As you can see here, there's really just that cap, 335 joules per kilogram of cap, 369. So really not much of a tornado threat, as you can see there. But definitely that wind and hail threat is going to be pretty high across these regions for the June 26th time frame. If you did enjoy this video, I would ask you to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and make sure to share this video with any friends or family that might be interested in watching daily weather forecasts or might be impacted by this multi-day severe weather threat. Anyways, stay safe.